So here we are at another episode of our podcast. Jessica Sorensen is here with me today. And we're going to talk a little bit about what are buyers' biggest fears and why, and are they legit concerns? Yeah, right? Because we help a lot of people buy and sell real estate. And right now we are hearing, would you say that we're hearing a lot of concern from both those segments of the market?
Definitely. I think there's a lot of uncertainty for buyers. Obviously, the obvious is the interest rate hike, creating other challenges than there was challenges before.
Right.
When the interest rates were lower, there was a ton of offers. You were, putting everything out there to get the house, and that has changed.
Yeah. Would you say that your the buyers that you're working with now are kind of just saying, "Oh, I'm just going to wait for the interest rates to go down"?
Yes, I do.
And
I think in the back
down.
of their mind, I think they know that that's probably not realistic, and we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it'd be, obviously great for buyers if it did, but historically that hasn't been the case at all. To see rates that low. So chances are for it to return anytime soon is probably not going to help you pursue your goal, if that is your goal, to get yourself into a home.
There's a lot of noise out there about the market and what's going to happen. And at the end of the day, none of us really know, for one. But they are valid concerns. I mean, nobody wants to screw up. Nobody wants to be like, "Oh, shit, I bought a house and now the values have dropped and the rates the rates dropped." But at the end of the day, the good news is what I think you were going to say, is that they aren't having to now pay $50,000 over the asking price. They could actually get it for, you said this yesterday.
Maybe 20, 30,000 under asking with a credit.
Right.
We just don't know. And that's kind of what we're seeing is buyers being a lot pickier about writing an offer. And when they do, it's a lot of, I think not on, the whole, but there's been a lot where, they're writing under right off the bat. So.
Right. Yeah. So the good news for the buyer is that it actually may not make that much of a difference. Their interest rate is definitely going to be higher. Your payment's going to be higher than it was, a few months ago at 3%. But the good news is that you aren't paying $50,000 over. You might be paying a little bit under or asking price. You don't have the competition, and now you do have the opportunity to invest.
And having that stress of, when you know that everybody in town is looking for, a house, and that all these people are interested in it, is it really the one for you? Do you know what I mean? Do you actually love it, or are you just doing it because, if you don't do it in 2 days, you're going to lose out again?
Right. So now buyers have time to actually think about the house they want. They don't have to make a decision of writing an offer that's $50,000 over in 30 minutes.
Right. I think it gives you the opportunity to be a little bit more, thoughtful about your choice as well.
Right. And at the end of the day, maybe it's not the right time, even though, for that particular person. I mean, I think that if you look at what your goal is, you're going to live there for a year, 2 years, then probably shouldn't do it. But if you're going to live there for 5 years or more, in all likelihood, you will have gained some equity in that home.
Yeah.
And you won't be paying somebody else's rent.
Right.
Like you are now, potentially.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's just sort of helping people understand, how is it serving you right now to be in a panic? Like, are you cramped inside your little teeny tiny house with 3 kids but you're so afraid to make that move? I mean,
I think that for the people that really need to make it, they are out there. They're gonna do it. They just obviously need somebody to help them. Make sure that they're making the best choice that they can, the right house. And that their payments are gonna work out for them.
Absolutely.
People that don't have to move or make a move. But we're looking prior to this, it's a little bit of a scene for them. I just think if the right thing comes along and it still works for you again, but again, if you don't have to, they're being a lot more picky about their choices.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing. I mean, if you're going to buy the biggest asset of your life, you should be picky.
Yeah.
And but back again, 6 months ago, you couldn't be picky.
No.
you'd end up, like you were saying, just with whatever. And then you're like, oh God, how did I end up with this house?
Right.
I mean, no, I think most people were very happy with their house and they made great decisions.
But it was a hustle for them,
And then I don't know that buyers also understand that you can do what's called like a rate buy down. So you can actually, and I know we've talked about this on other podcasts, but you can get the seller to do a credit back to make your interest rate be a little bit less if the seller will agree to that. So that would be helpful as well.
I mean, same with, a price offering a little less, getting that seller credit to buy down your interest rate. It really combined really does make a big difference.
So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is
I mean, I just think it's coming and I think buyers are working their way through it.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like I think they're getting to the realization that probably interest rates are not going to go below 3% again.
No.
They're probably not going to go down too much anytime soon. They may go up. So I feel like it's just a kind of settling in of a mindset that we're just in a different place,
right,
than we were last year.
And again, like you said, we're probably not going back to that really low interest rate. And if we do, great, refi, but it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, to hold out if you really don't want to rent anymore or really need to make a move. There's things you can work around that will help you achieve your goal. So I don't think it's all just terrible.
Yeah, the opposite is that what if rates are 9% next year, and you wished you would have bought when they were 6.5. Yeah. So if we only all had that crystal ball, and I totally understand that people don't want to make a bad decision. Nobody does. Right. I agree with them, and I don't want anyone to make a bad decision. So if you feel like it's not the right time, you'll know if you feel good enough about it. And I do think that next year will be still good opportunities for buyers to buy. And I think they'll be a little more relaxed about what the situation is, because the only question that they need to really answer is, can I afford it?
Right.
I don't necessarily think you're going to kick yourself 5 years down the road if you paid a little bit of a higher interest rate or paid a little bit more for your house. Because you'll probably would have made that back up in your rent payments anyway by not paying somebody else's mortgage. Right. So I think as long as you're going long term, you're going to be in good shape. That's the only bad side is if the rates go up and you like, can you imagine going, damn, I missed 6%. Yeah. I bet you it's going to happen. Yeah. People are going to wish they would have bought a house at 6%.
And if you look, sort of like when your mom was in real estate, when my grandma was in real estate, I mean, that was at the height of.
The difference was though the prices.
Right.
So our prices went up so high. So there's a good chance that they'll come down a little bit, but we haven't seen anything drastic.
Right.
So that is the difference, is the prices just definitely went higher. So on that last note, maybe is, I think some good advice is to make sure you have a good realtor, right? And a good lender. You want to be working with a realtor that wants you to get the house that you want and doesn't, it may take you could see a house the first week, or you could see a house and it could take a year. That's just the way it is. So you want to make sure they're on your agenda, not their agenda.
And just guiding you in the right direction of all those little things that could really make a difference in the offer. That'll potentially help you, achieve a better, mortgage payment. So
and there are so many other things you could do. Like we said, the buy down, and then being able to sit face to face with your lender, I think is huge, because they can look at the different scenarios and sit across the table from you and say, okay, here's plan A, B, C. This one is this payment, that one's that payment, and this one you have to have more down, this one you have to have less down. Which option works best for you? All right, well, if you have any questions about real estate, we're happy, even if it's not in Chico. We know agents all over the country that we could refer you to if you are happen to be on this podcast and you're not in the Chico area. So, well, thanks, Jess.
Right. Yeah, thank you.
Peace out.
Bye.